God, it translates into the anointed one. So they could just have been referring to him as a knowledgeable, wise prophet with good teachings.
Well, if that professor who says that is employed by a state university, that's embarrassing. Why? Because although that used to be taught 75 to 125 years ago on these campuses, archaeological finds and the discovery of the writings of the early church fathers have totally smashed that whole school of thought that taught that the Gospels were not written until a couple hundred years later. What do I mean? In 95 AD, Clement, Bishop of Rome, wrote letters in which he quoted Matthew, Mark.
They had the technology, that area of the world, to do things he wanted to do.
If you have a professor on this campus who's teaching that the Gospels were not written for hundreds of years after Christ, that is an embarrassment to this fine university.
So, if God was an all-loving God, loved his children, wanted us to hear his word and do things he wanted to do, why would he choose his son to go to basically the center of the world at that point that was the most illiterate? And I would consider that point of the world, that area of the world at that time, not very trustworthy and not very knowledgeable. Why would they send him? Why not send him to China? China had the printing press at that time. They had the technology to write out things with machines and be able to mass distribute it.
It's dated 31 AD. Translated, it reads, summer, 4th month of the year, on the day of Ren Wu. The imperial edict reads, yin and yang, darkness and light, have mistakenly switched, and the sun and the moon were eclipsed. The sins of all the people are now on one man. Pardon is proclaimed to all under heaven. The Chinese had no idea about Jesus in 31 AD. No Christian missionary would have gone to China because Jesus had just died. There weren't any Christian missionaries. And yet in their soul, in their spirit, they recorded this incredible statement in their history of the latter Han dynasty. And in their soul, they said there's this mysterious, unexpected darkening of the sun. The sins of all the people are upon one man, and pardon is proclaimed to all under heaven. They didn't know what they were writing. And it says here in the Annals number 18 of Gui Hai, eclipse on the day of Gui Hai, man from heaven died. They had no idea what they were writing. But the Holy Spirit would have spoken to those Chinese astronomers and the emperor, and in their soul, in their heart, they sensed that this unexpected darkening that lasted for 3 hours had something to do with a man in heaven dying, from heaven dying, and pardon for the sins of the world. The Bible tells us it was about the 6th hour and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. 3 days later, the Chinese recorded a rainbow that encircled the sun like a halo. During the reign of Emperor Guangwu on the day of Bing Yin of the 4th month of Jian Wu, a halo, a rainbow encircled the sun. And that's found in the history of the latter Han, Annals number 18. And that is the resurrection of Jesus Christ.